Welcome to the Clayton County Board of Education work session. Today is October 21st, 2024. It is 6:02, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have been in executive session where we discuss personnel, land acquisition, and legal matters. Uh, At this time, if you will, please join us in standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Girl, you sent me that darn menu after I got home, got in the bed. I was so mad at myself.
At this time, I'm going to call the roll, starting with District 1, Ms. Jasmine Bowles.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Mark Christmas.
Present.
District 3, Jesse Goree. That's me. District 4, Ms. Victoria Williams.
Present.
District 5, Dr. D. Haney. District 6, Ms. Mary Baker,
Present.
who is sitting in as our vice chair this evening. District 7, Ms. Sabrina Hill. Ms. She is absent for personal reasons. And District 8, Ms. Joy Taylor Cooper.
Present.
And District 9, Mr. Benjamin Straker is at a educational conference this evening. We have with us Dr. Douglas Hendricks, who is the Senior Deputy Superintendent, Chief of Staff,
Present.
sitting in for Dr. Anthony Smith. Our attorney, Mr. Clem Doyle.
Present.
Our board liaison, Ms. Kim Blackwood. Our administrative assistant to the superintendent and board, Ms. Alicia Battle. And our administrative assistant to the deputy, senior deputy chief of staff, Ms. Don Blau.
Present.
All right, and I want to thank everyone. I'm looking out there in the audience. I see all those people in pink. I want to thank the staff for coming today, supporting. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Thank you all so much. But before we go on, I do want to ask for a moment of silent reflection for one of our board members, Mr. Mark Christmas, who recently has lost his brother and most recently his brother-in-law, Mr. Mark Anthony Patterson. So if we could say, take a moment of silent reflection for him, please. Thank you. We want to keep him uplifted in prayer. And we're doing a little something different this evening because normally when we have our board work sessions, we don't do uh, board recognitions, but this evening we have a couple of special recognitions that we needed to do. So it'll be very brief. We will do those and then we will start our meeting. So you want to start with
Yes.
board members, if you could step down, please, we'd appreciate that.
Madam Chair, uh, Mr. Deputy Superintendent, and members of the board, it is my pleasure to present some special recognition. For this one, I would ask the following individuals to come and join the board down front. Dr. April Crawford, Deputy Superintendent for Student Support Services, and Ms. Felicia Brown, Assistant Superintendent for Student Support Services. Is she assistant or superintendent? She's assistant. Okay. Oh, okay. Whatever. As well, we would ask that Dr. Guiney, Mr. Manning, and Mr. Townsend, if he is with us this evening, to please come forward and join the board. We have a very special guest in our audience this evening who's going to make some of our students and some of our instructors very happy. So I would invite Ms. Kira Harris Braggs of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Development Officer for the Southern Crescent region to please come forward as well. Hmm? Yeah, right. Okay. In 2018, Atlanta Falcons football, in cooperation with the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, initiated a pilot program for girls flag football. The primary objective of this program was to give young women the opportunity to actively engage in the sport. Following a successful inaugural season in December of 2019, the Georgia High School Association sanctioned girls flag football as an official high school sport. Georgia was only the fourth state in the nation to do this at that time. Presently, there are over 260 high schools throughout Georgia that have integrated girls flag football into their athletic programs. This monumental progression has opened doors for countless student athletes, empowering them to pursue their passion for the sport and to strive for excellence at the collegiate level and beyond. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is currently in its second year of partnership with the Falcon Girls Flag Football Initiative, providing sports medicine services, trainers, and other resources to athletes at Falcon sanctioned events. In addition, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta has supported over 15 teams with grants to purchase equipment and other necessities to start or sustain their programs. Tonight, Ms. Harris Braggs will be presenting checks of $1,000 to three girls flag football teams in Clayton County. Would Would representatives of the following school programs please come forward? Forest Park High School, Mundy's Middle High School, and North Clayton High School. Why are y'all walking away? We're doing a big thing. Oh, they haven't shook everybody's hand. Why y'all doing that? It should be It should be noted that these $1,000 grants exemplify Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's commitment to the sport, the athletes, and their overall wellness, and we express our appreciation to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Thank you.
All right, we have one last presentation. And because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I wanted to recognize some very special people. I have an award. They are going to, Ms. Blackwood will be passing it out. I'm calling it the Courage and Resilience Award. And also saying the people that never missed a beat. Because, you know, tonight you see, as they say, I have my crown on tonight. Uh, pink for I'm a breast cancer survivor. And I need this crown on tonight because I'm having a bad hair day. And people don't understand that when you have breast cancer, all of the everything that you need, you go through the chemo, the first of all, let's say the surgery, you go through chemo, radiation. And right now I have a head full of hair where I have four different lengths of hair on my head. I wake up some mornings and I don't even know what to do with it because I can't figure out, you know, exactly what I should be doing. Uh, you know, to a woman, hair is a very important thing. And I really didn't have a problem when I actually shaved my head. I actually felt a lot of freedom because I didn't have to worry about, you know, is somebody going to be looking at my hair or whatever. So I just want to give y'all some fair warning because I'm having this problem. Don't talk about me online or whatever when probably people that out looking at the meeting today. Yeah, I have this hat on. I might come in here with a couple of different wigs because I'm really tired of what I'm going through and all the things that we, you know, go through with our bodies. So there are some people that are very important that are staff members, and I'm gonna start with. Okay, the certificate says it's a certificate of courage and resilience. And the first one I'm giving out, this certifies that Miss Mary Baker is a courageous survivor who has faced the challenges of cancer with unwavering strength and determination. Through every trial, you have shown remarkable resilience and have truly never missed a beat. Your journey inspires those around you to embrace hope and perseverance. And this is presented on October 21st, 2024 by me, because you've been through the fire.
I just want to say she's wearing her crown and I'm wearing my Wonder Woman outfit because you got to be a warrior to do this.
And I have another little small token of appreciation for you as well. Take that. All right, the other people, these are, and also we're saying, I'll go with the breast cancer people. Is Dr. Malika Gonzalez here today? Dr. Gonzalez. Come on up, Dr. Gonzalez. Is Miss Jamila Hud Kirk present this evening? Come on up. Dr. Pamela Pitts. Brenda Ross Wilson is not available tonight because I think she's away. Oh. Dr. Monica Wiley. I'm gonna have one other person come and step down. She's not a breast cancer survivor, but she is a survivor. And that would be Miss Alicia Battle. Where are you? Miss Battle is a survivor of pancreatic cancer. So if there are any other survivors in here, I thank you for never missing a beat because you just didn't stop. You did a great job. I have another small token of appreciation I want to give you. And then I have two other people that I want to recognize. And these are people that have been very supportive. And that's Miss Valerie Henderson, who, when I ended up with the diagnosis, she made sure that I've gotten all my insurances, and she made sure that I have this little, what's this little thing you have around your neck, Dr. Pitts?
Air purifier.
Yes, she bought me one of those. Come on up, Miss Henderson. And if any chance, is Nikki Frazier in here by any chance? Okay, but Nikki Frazier has been one of the people that has been very encouraging to me. So I just want to thank all of you all for never missing a beat at work. People just don't know what you go through each and every day, but I just thank you all so much. And I'm gonna turn it over. And everyone, you all just might as well keep your name tags turned around because we will need to go. No, don't turn it. We do need to go back one more time because we do have something from executive session. All right, at this time, I'm going to read the ethics statement. In accordance with Board Policy BH, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of such conflicts. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict with respect to any matter scheduled to come before the board at this meeting or appearing on our proposed agenda? If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from participation in the matter involved. All right, at this time, we need to adopt the agenda. I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda, please. Mr. Christmas.
So moved, Madam Chair.
All right, I need a second. Ms. Baker.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the agenda. Please vote. All right, and the vote is, it is a unanimous vote, 6 in favor. All right, the next item on the agenda is recommendations from executive session. I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Hendricks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. On behalf of Dr. Smith, he would like to recommend for the assistant principal of Morrow High School, Mr. Roderick Dunlap.
board members, I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Mr. Roderick Dunlap as the assistant principal at Morrow High School. Ms. Cooper.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for Mr. Roderick Dunlap as the assistant principal at Morrow High School.
All right. I need a second. Ms. Williams? All right, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Mr. Roderick Dunlap as the assistant principal at Morrow High School. Please vote. All right, it is a unanimous vote, 7 in favor. You wanna-
Yes, Mr. Dunlap, if you're here, will you please stand, sir? Congratulations. Congratulations, sir.
All right. Well, let me see what this, I'll just leave that as this. We also have a employee tribunal number 2024-2025-01. I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation. Ms. Bowles, to uphold the superintendent's recommendation. Excuse me, let me restate that. I'm sorry, you all, to uphold the recommendation of the tribunal. Ms. Bowles.
I recommend that we uphold the superintendent's recommendation for Tribunal 24-25-01.
All right, I need a second. Ms. Baker.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we uphold the superintendent's recommendation from the tribunal panel. Please vote. All right, we have 6 members in favor and 1 abstention. Yeah. All right, we have one other item from executive session. I need a motion for the Georgia Power easement, for the superintendent's recommendation of the Georgia Power easement. Ms. Baker.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the Georgia Power easement.
All right, and I will second that motion. Please vote. Okay, we have 6 members in favor and 1 abstention. Got it. All right, okay, board members. We need to get up one more time to get a picture with Mr. Dunlap. Mr. Dunlap, could you come up and take a picture with the board, please? Thank you. Turn it over to you. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Hendricks.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair, and coming to the podium, we'll have our Deputy Superintendent over Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement, Dr. Delphia Young.
Good evening, Madam Chair. You're looking beautiful in your crown. Everybody looking beautiful in your pink. Tonight, I will ask Ms. Jacqueline Johnson, who is our Director of Research Evaluation Assessment and Accountability, to share with us some data from the 2024 school year. Following her would be Dr. Monica Wiley, who will share information with you about the progress towards our strategic planning process. And later this afternoon, we will hear from Ms. Stephanie Trice with a little bit of information about high school graduation. So that's where we are.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Greetings, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, board, community members, and family members who are listening at home. I'm here to share first the graduation rates, and then we will go into ACT and SAT for graduating cohort of 2024. So on this slide is the order that we're going to take a look at the data, and I just wanted to give a brief overview of what the college and career readiness data are that we're looking at. Some of these indicators for college and career readiness really tell us what it means when a student is prepared and has the knowledge and skills and the dispositions needed to go directly to work or to enroll without remediation in a variety of post-secondary education and or training activities, thus allowing them to enter a career or college of their choice. That can also include any type of technological studies that they may be interested in doing at a tech college, not always just a four-year institution. So scores from college admission exams like the ACT and SAT, and also graduation rates provide us here in Clayton County Public Schools with valuable information on how well we are preparing our students for life and beyond. And these data help us take a look and improve our programs and the services that we provide for students. All right, first I want to explain that the way that Georgia calculates the graduation cohort rates, it is first required as a federal requirement for law that that the state of Georgia calculates graduation rates, and that we look at how the students graduate, the percentage and the number of students who graduate once they enter ninth grade throughout their college, throughout their education here and high school, whether they stay here or whether they leave here. We do a lot of monitoring down below the surface to look at the data when we're looking at if the students, where they're coming and going as they're entering and exiting, when they're coming and going from one school to the next or from one district to the next, whether it's here in Georgia or outside of Georgia. So from the beginning of ninth grade, students who enter that grade for the first time, and then subsequently as we're adding students or as students are leaving our schools, we have to monitor their progress and try to find where the students are coming and going. And that's how our rates are calculated and stay with our school, or if they go with our school district, or whether they go to another school district. A lot of special care goes into the cleansing of that data at the school level and also at the district level to ensure that we are accurately monitoring students as they're coming and going so that we know if the students are on track. Also, while we're monitoring the students from the time they enter as ninth graders, our goal is to not just look at once they get to be 12th graders, but to monitor how well they're learning and growing and how many credits they're obtaining throughout the course of the time period, so that we can make sure that they are graduating on time. So this graph on your screen shows you Clayton County Public Schools are listed in blue and the state of Georgia is listed in green. Our rates are compared against the state of Georgia and also other schools in the state. And the Clayton County Public School four-year graduation rate, we are excited to announce, is 82.98, rounded up to 83%, which is the highest rate we've had the highest rate since 2011 when we started calculating the graduation rates in this way. And that's an improvement of 1.9 percentage points over last year. Since 2011, CCPS has continued to close the gap between our scores and the state of Georgia. This year, the gap was closed to where we're only 2.4 percentage points away from the state, and we believe that we are going to exceed the state this year that we're currently in as we're going forward. So the state of Georgia's rate was 85.4%, which was only an increase of 1.4 percentage points over their 2003 rate. The slide you're looking at here shows not only the state of Georgia rate, but it also shows the Clayton County Public Schools rate and shows the rate for all the schools. I'll give you all a moment just to take a look at the data. And I'll highlight, you'll notice that on the far right corner, the change in the percentage points for each school is listed there in blue. Elite Scholars Academy has continued to report perfect 100% graduation rates since 2014. The first time that it had a graduating class. Stillwell High School of the Arts has graduated 100% of its students and has an average rate of 99.83 of its seniors since 2015. 3 high schools maintained their 90% rate in 2024, and Lovejoy High School at 92%, Morrow High School at 91.5%, and Mount Zion High School at 93.1%. Forest Park High School has reported a noteworthy performance increase of 6.8 percentage points, resulting in a score of 88%, up from the 81.2% in last school year. Charles Drew High School had a notable rate of 3.6 percentage points, finishing with an average of 85%. And the class at Perry, our alternative high school, had a graduation rate of 60.2%, which is their highest rate. And their increase was 7.6 percentage points above last school year. 6 out of our 12 high schools increased their respective graduation rates in 2024. 5 of the district high schools had rates higher than 90%, which should be commended. And out of the 11 traditional high schools, all of those 11 traditional high schools are above 80%, 83%, with an average of the traditional high schools of 90.6%. So we are making some fantastic gains for all of our students for graduation rates.
I'm gonna give them a hand. I'm gonna just stop you and ask a question because I know you have a lot, but I just want to understand one thing. Going back to elite scholars being 100%. Okay, so if a child starts at elite scholars and they don't stay at elite scholars and they graduate from somewhere else, they're still considered 100%.
So the data follows the students, and it follows them. Like if they come into our district and stay with our district, we get it. If we know where they leave, the data follows them. The whole point is that the students graduate on time.
I know, but I'm just to the question that I just asked you.
Yes, ma'am.
If they start at elite scholars, but they don't stay at elite scholars and they graduate from somewhere else, or in county or wherever they graduate from, that still gives them 100% because basically you're just following the student. Is that what you're telling me? Because I know that if you can give me that answer, because I know that.
Good question. This is called cohort graduation. The answer is no. That data goes to the school that graduated the student. So if that student withdrew from elite scholars and enrolled in North Clayton High School, that student becomes a member of North Clayton High School cohort. And so that data will count for North Clayton High School.
Okay. Then I'm not sure that data's correct, but
Yeah, that
I'm
is
just
correct.
asking. Okay. No, what you just told me that, because that's what I thought, that once they left, then they became with the other schools. Okay.
And the reason that works for elite scholars, as long as we know where the school is for that student who's attending, unless say Delphia withdrew from elite scholars and I moved to Florida,
Right.
and you look at my withdrawal code and they can't find me. So because my mom did not request a transfer of records, then I would count as a withdrawal, and that would count out as a dropout, and then that would decrease elite scholars graduation rate. But because they were able to find my records and confirm that, then I'm not counted as a dropout. I'm still in school somewhere. I just happens to be in Florida.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Dr. Young. Taking a look at the English learner graduation rates. The graduation rate for English learners in Clayton County Public Schools has increased 6.3 percentage points from 72.3% in 2023 up to 79.1% in 2024. Our graduation rates for English learners is higher than that of Georgia, so that is another piece that we should commend for the work we do with our English learners. Graduation rates for English learners for Clayton County Public Schools has consistently improved since 2014. And Clayton has decreased that gap in our percentage rate of English learners who graduated by 42.8 percentage points from 2014 until now. So we keep closing that gap more and more and actually have exceeded for our English learners. Taking a look at students with disabilities, our students with disabilities, that rate has remained pretty much steady. There was a slight decline of 0.5%, but that would be probably a few students. And it has to do oftentimes with students with disabilities and whether they're making gains or not. And also has a lot to do with their cohort rates getting changed. Students who have a disability, if they are on we call them GAA, but it's students who are on the alternative grade band standards. Students who are on those standards, their cohort rates can get changed from what year they get in their cohort because they can remain in school until they're 22. And so oftentimes when you're looking below the scenes in the data, that can impact the data for students with disabilities. But the graduation rate for students with disabilities in Georgia increased by 2.2 percentage points, and Clayton's only had a slight decrease. So we are definitely taking a looking at how we are working with our students with disabilities and ensuring that they are graduating. As you know, they have a lot of struggles with completing the work because of their said disability. So we're providing supports for them. Any questions on graduation rates?
Any questions? All right.
Moving on to the ACT graduating class data. ACT, as I stated earlier, is a college and career readiness indicator because if students meet or exceed a certain benchmark score, then that is an indication of how well they are prepared for college and careers and beyond. So that you have a little bit of background knowledge, the college readiness scores for ACT are 18 in English, 22 in math, 22 in reading, 23 in science. Students with ACT scores that meet or exceed the benchmarks have at least a 75% chance of earning a C or higher when they go into a higher education institution, so that they can enter school not needing remediation. On this slide, what you'll see are Clayton's results shown by the green bar, the nation's results shown by the blue bar, and the state of Georgia's results shown by the red bar. The graduating class of 2024 recorded an average composite score of 17.5, which is 0.5 percentage points higher than the 23 average score of 17. The composite score for Clayton was lower than the state of Georgia and was also lower from the nation. I do want to make sure that you are aware that the graduating group of students who took the ACT, there was a lot less students than what you might find in our SAT data, which I'm going to explain in just a moment. Only 283 students took the ACT last year, and that is partly because our students had to take it on their own and they had to take it on a Saturday. So as you are aware, we are offering the ACT very similarly this year to how we offer the SAT for our 11th graders. So we will have higher numbers to compare against next year. The total number of students who tested on the ACT for the graduating class was 283 students. The ACT test takers did decrease from the previous year from 173, which mirrors the decreases of the students who tested in Georgia and also in the nation. This nation and Georgia also showed a decrease in students who took the ACT last year.
Are you going on to the SAT or?
I was, unless you had a question, I can answer.
I do. Aren't we giving the ACT this week? Is it this week?
Yes, it's Wednesday of this week
Okay.
for all of our 11th grade students who themselves or their families stated that they were interested in taking the ACT. So we're offering it during the school day and paying for it.
Okay. So if I guess for someone looking at data and ours doesn't quite look as well, what are we doing to help students prepare for the ACT then?
Well, one of the first things we're doing is giving it as 11th graders instead of only like looking at the graduating class data. Graduating class includes all the students who by the time they graduated have taken it. So in order to dig into the data and seeing how our students are performing as 11th graders, that'll give us some indication of where students are at and gives us additional time to work with the students. And there's a lot of learning that because we hadn't, as a district, given it the way that we've given the SAT during the school day, and we didn't have large groups of students participating in it, there will be a lot of training for our staff members about what those benchmarks look like. There are performance standards that go along with the benchmark scores. And so training all of our counselors and all of our high school persons to take a look at what the data mean so that we can then start moving in the direction to provide better programming for students and making sure the students are aware of how important it is.
Okay, but I mean, like, a lot of times we have companies that want to offer us like those ACT prep courses, SAT. Why aren't we doing that?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that question. Parents, community members, we will have, for the first time in a long, long time, SAT, ACT prep beginning this summer.
Okay.
And so we are announcing it now. We want our parents and students and special students who are rising juniors and seniors to participate in the SAT, ACT prep. And that is going to be sponsored by our counseling department and our advanced learning department. So we're very excited about taking our ACT data and our SAT data, PSAT data, crafting the curriculum for the training for our kids. So please, please, please encourage our families to participate.
All right. That's what I'm just getting at is because I really probably wouldn't want the data up there. We're just saying, hey, take the test, and we're not really doing anything as far as, like prep courses or whatever. Because I didn't know how important it was when I took it.
Right.
I didn't want to get up on a Saturday. I think I just hurried up and put something down and took a nap throughout because I don't believe in what it says. The score, it says that, you're likely to graduate. So I defied all the odds. I probably could have done a whole lot better if I really tried to study for it, but I just took it. So that was what I was looking for.
I'll add also that all of our students, well, not all students, most students who have an economic disadvantage, they're free reduced lunch, or they have, their income is a place where they are able to apply for a waiver. Every student is allowed to get 2 waivers where they can take the assessment free. And along with that waiver that they get from their counselor, they then get access to free college prep. But they have to first get that waiver from their counselor, and then they get access to, they have to get the waiver, apply to take the test in addition to the one that we're giving on a Saturday or another national test date. And then they also get free ACT prep that I believe they're able to keep working with that for 6 months after they take it. So even though they're going to take it this Wednesday, they can continue to work on the ACT prep and take it as many times as they need to continue to improve their scores. You're welcome. This slide shows the performance for all of our schools, each of the schools and their composite scores over the course of several years from 2019 until most recently. Drew High School Elite Scholars, Forest Park High, and Morrow have increases in their ACT composite scores. Again, those increases are in that last column that's bright in blue. Elite Scholars Academy has the highest ACT composite score at 22.4. They did outperform the state of Georgia of 21.2 with their composite score, the students who've identified that that's the school that they attend. Also, Elite has had the highest increase in the ACT composite score of 1.8 points from 2016 in 2023. So I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions before I move on. SAT graduating class data. The SAT assessment is very similar to, well, I shouldn't say it's very similar. I'll say it is another college exam, a college entrance exam. They
Dr.
test very different
Hold on
things.
just a minute. Ms. Williams has a question. Hold on just a minute.
Sure.
I think for 2021, the Forest Park is like an asset. I mean, no students took ACT.
Yeah, that is, so ACT, if you have less than 15 students, they don't publicize that data because that would mean that you could more closely identify the students who took the test, and we try to protect FERPA laws, so the state doesn't release that data, generally. Taking a look at the SAT graduating class, a total score for the SAT is made up of evidence-based writing portion and a combination of the math portion of the test. Clayton County Public Schools had an increase of 10 students who participated in 2023-24 over the 2022-23. We had a total of 1,490 students who participated in 2024 as compared to 1,480 who participated in 2023. As a district, CCPS composite score was 901 in 2024. And we did perform below Georgia and below the national average. Decreases occur nationally and also in the state of Georgia, it should be noted. So nationally, it was 8 points less than the previous year, and in Georgia, it was also 15 points less. So not to excuse it away, but support as they're going through their journey. And that's why we continue to assess and reassess and then provide supports that the students need in the classrooms. This is the SAT graduating class, their total mean scores. Again, if you look at the far right, you will see the scores in blue and how the students performed at each of the schools. Again, Elite Scholars Academy led the district with a total score of 1131. Their score represents an 8 percentage point gain over 2023, and it was 136 points higher than the national average of 995 and 101 points, higher than Georgia's score of 1030. Stillwell School of the Arts showed, Stillwell School of the Arts had the highest increase of 35 points from 2023 and a composite score of 980 to their score of 1015 in 2024. Lovejoy's high school score of 886 was 15 points higher than their score in 2023. Mount Zion's score was 18-point improvement over 2020 in 2024 over 2023. Monday's Mill score of 985 was 9 points higher than its score in 2023. And Perry Career Academy also increased their points in 2024 to 826 over their score of 824. Lastly, Riverdale High School did show a 10-point increase in 2024, going from 907 to 917. And we had a slight increase of 10 students who participated this year over last year. So I'm going to pause and see if there are any additional questions.
Ms. Baker.
Bravo on all the increases, but there are some serious decreases there at certain schools. And I just want to make sure that we're not reinventing the wheel and we find out what they're doing really good at these schools on this side so we can share that information. You know, it could be something simple, it might not be, but like I said, I don't want you to reinvent the wheel. If we know it's working over here, let's try it at school B. So.
Noted. And that is some of the collaborative work that we're having when we're going over the dating, having conversations where the leaders at schools, the counselors are talking about what strategies are impacted. And a lot of it, some of it has to do with the students being prepared to take the test because the tests are very different. Also, some of the other things that can contribute to those differences in scores is the number of students who are taking the test, because at some schools we had a larger percentage, a larger number of students who participated, and that can have a greater impact on the scores and the rates depending on how the students fluctuate with their scores underneath levels. But thank you, we'll note that, we'll talk about that. Any other questions?
I really want to commend the Perry Academy though, because they've really grown considering. So they've done a great job. But I'm very proud of everything, and I just think with testing, if that's important, we need to do some things on our part to help everyone, just as Ms. Baker said. Maybe we need to take the elite scholar students over to one of the other schools and let them have a study. You know, it's just like even with one of the problems that we're having with our teachers and not being able to pass the gate. I remember when we first had to take the teacher's exam after I taught for 15 years, and all of a sudden they said we needed to take a test. A lot of teachers didn't pass. But, you know, some of the things we did when we took the test, we formed our own study groups. And I know you all are looking at everything, but maybe y'all should maybe talk to some students and ask some students to give you some input on what they think would help them. Because, you know, adults, we always have all the solutions and we want to, you know, give them all of this blah, blah, blah. But maybe if we just sat down and talked with a group of students and said, well, hey, can we form some study groups, you know, within our schools, like before they're going to take the test. It might help them understand. And of course, it's always good to go in and take the test and everybody come out and remember a question or whatever and try to even have your little study guide off of that. So that would be, I think it's always good with peer tutors as well. But I think we're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
Thanks for the information.
I believe Dr. Wiley is up next. Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Hendricks. I yielded most of my time to Ms. Johnson, so I am not going to take up too much of your time. But it is an honor to speak to you regarding our strategic planning process, which we are beginning as soon as possible so that we can take the district through the entire cycle and not rush our wonderful work. So we're starting approximately 18 months in advance.
What's that noise? We're trying to figure out what that is. Okay.
We don't know. So we're gonna start our strategic planning process early, like I said, and our process will take all of our stakeholders. It will make sure that we're reviewing our data and give our Board of Education and the internal staff data to review and to ensure that we are meeting our goals and our vision. And there are four prongs to our strategic planning process, and I'm going to briefly talk about each prong, but I'm not going to review each and every slide in verbatim. So our first prong is our training and our capacity building, and you will see that we're going to train 3 different groups prior to us starting the process. The training is extremely important, and we're going to train our Board of Education, our district leadership, and our principals. And then after we do that training, we're also going to conduct a strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, a SWOT analysis, so that we can ensure that we're moving in the right direction with our process. And then you will see that we're going to really strengthen our community engagement meetings. We're going to start with 8 meetings. 4 of those meetings will be on different sides of the community. GSBA will facilitate those meetings and all of our training sessions. Just so you know, GSBA, we went through the procurement process, and GSBA is the organization that we are going to use. We're also going to conduct meetings with our student advisories, our classified, certified staff, and with our business leaders as well. And then after those particular engagement opportunities, we will conduct a survey so that we can kind of gauge where we are and what our community really wants from our school system as far as student achievement. And then we will also ensure that GSBA is going to give us a development and presentation to not only the board, but our community as well after we complete that process. And then the next phase will be our planning team. We're going to have an action team and a planning team. The planning team is just that. It's going to plan. It's going to review our current vision, mission, our goals, and our belief statements. It's also going to look at our current data, and not just our achievement data, but we're also going to look at discipline data. We're going to look at attendance. We're going to look at financial. We're going to look at HR. We're going to look at all of our data that we have in our district. And just so you know, the 2 things that we're going to do, if it comes back that we may need to review or revise our vision, mission, belief statements, and goals, then we're going to start doing that simultaneously. GSBA will continue this process, and members of the board, I will work with you to revise our vision, mission, belief statements, and our goals. And we'll do all of this simultaneously. And then also, we're going to develop a strategic map, a district strategic map. And the district strategic map is just a visual of our performance objectives and where we're going to meet our vision and our goals. And that's going to help us communicate with our internal and external stakeholders about where we are as a district. And then we're going to finalize that strategic map. And then after our planning team does that piece of work, the action team comes and start working with our Board of Ed, with our community, with all of our stakeholders. And then the action team is just that. We're going to look at initiatives and we're going to look at our action steps. And what GSBA is going to guide us through, you know, our strategic improvement plan is very robust and it's a lot in it. They are going to help us scale it down. They're also going to help us pull out those powerful initiatives for the first 12 to 18 months of this plan. Those 12 to 18 months, those are the initiatives that we're going to work on, and we're going to ensure that we are meeting our vision and our goals, and we're moving towards that. And then after the initial setup, our goal champions is what we call them. Those are the different department leads that are in charge of certain goals. They're going to basically, this is where we go to work. This is where we're going to work towards meeting all of our initiatives, and we're going to implement our action steps. And that's what we're going to do day by day. And you're going to see that there's going to be some changes in how we update the board. We're going to update the board via our board meetings when people come like me and Dr. Young and Dr. Crawford and Dr. Culver come to present to you all. They will tell you where they are with our strategic plan and what initiative that presentation is aligned to, so that you are aware that that strategic plan is in our faces, on our desk, and actually working for us every single day. So you're going to receive those updates continuously from us. And during this process, there's of course board approval. We're going to seek your approval. The timeline, it is imperative that we try to reschedule the board training that we had on schedule during the hurricane, because we want to complete all of our training by December. We have to complete our training by December in order to stay on schedule. So Ms. Blackwood is going to work with the board to reschedule that training for us. But you will see, we're going to finish our process by February 2026, so that that action team and those goal champions can come together and work to get the strategic improvement plan finalized, and we're going to implement starting July 1st.
Before you said December, which December are you talking about?
If I said December, I meant February 20, December for the training, this upcoming December.
Yeah, that, I don't think that's gonna happen.
For the board training?
No, I don't think so.
We'll look into it.
No.
I mean, we'll look into
We
changing the
are,
schedule.
yeah, we have tried to we actually were trying to
For November.
reschedule it to November. And that's not, the GSBA is not
It's not
available.
available.
And we are going to be active participants. So I'm not sure we can get it done by December. It may be after, it may need to be January, because we are already we're behind like 2 trainings now. And so I'm not sure if that's feasible, but we'll do our best to try to do it, because I'm gonna just be honest, we're rescheduling. We can't have a meeting next week because we're going to conferences. We're doing training ourselves. And then, the next month is November. And we have things that are, we have a whole week out of, it's 3 weeks there. And then we only have 2 weeks in December. Right. And I just think that'll be hard. So we're really only looking at being able to do something in 5 weeks. And I don't think that people sitting here are going to change their holiday plan for strategic planning, because strategically we've already planned what we're doing in the month.
Absolutely. Dr. Young and Dr. Smith will communicate with the board when we make changes to this schedule, and we'll just send you an updated one. Okay, that's not a problem. And with that, I'll take any questions that you may have. All right, thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Okay. So that's it? No, it's one more person. Is Ms. Trice? Yeah.
Okay.
I got to go to it. It's in the wrong place.
I think you
Got some batteries here.
You need to be going the other way.
Huh? So, there we go.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Hendricks, and the Clayton County community. I'm Stephanie Trice, Executive Director of Secondary Academics, and I'm here to share the high school graduation schedule for 2025. As reflected on the schedule, ceremonies will begin at the Clayton County Performing Arts Center on May 19th and 20th for our smaller high schools. And we're excited that Utopian Academy of the Arts is having their first ceremony this year. And then we'll follow that with the ceremonies at the Georgia International Convention Center on May 21st, 22nd, and 23rd for our larger high schools. So the schedule is reflected on the screen. Do you have any questions?
Please highlight one of the things that I think in your executive summary, to make sure everybody is aware that in order for us to do that, we need to change the calendar. So you want to mention that to us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So this year, our school calendar it actually ends the week before Memorial Day. So our post-planning days come after Memorial Day, which is May 20, I think Memorial Day is May 24th or 5th. But however, our traditional calendar with the Georgia International Convention Center has us scheduled the week before Memorial Day. Well, during that week, we are still in school. Our students are still in school. So that was the challenge. So the challenge is, how do we maneuver graduations, we have transportation and a lot of our other departments that support graduation and still support school going on full time. So that's why we did suggest that we do Thursday and Friday as ELBC days, because we have graduations all day on those 2 days. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as half days for students, because our graduations will begin on Monday and Wednesday. They'll begin at 4 o'clock, and on Tuesday we just have Utopian at 9:30, which is a smaller ceremony.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, one thing that I need us to do so that we don't have this problem, well, we shouldn't have it next year because we'll have our own facility, but one of the things has to do with the calendar, because we also have a calendar that we're looking at, we're studying for trying to vote on it as far as our board meetings. But for example, this month is just really messed up as far as us having to have a meeting the third Monday. That's due to the fact that we had fall break. I don't know who does the calendar, who works on the calendar, but I wish you all would get started on next year's calendar, because I think it would have been very helpful this year when we had fall break. We had fall break the week before the what used to be called Columbus Day. The majority of the metro districts, they all had they had theirs last week. I think we need to try to see if we could at least get on the same page with other school districts, because that places a hardship. We have parents that work in other school districts. It would have helped if they were the same, because then you end up with, here you are, you work for Clayton, and here we were out this week. The next week, everybody else was out. And it just would seem to me that we would have selected this past week because it's a federal holiday as well. So I hope that we can try to, look at our respective calendars. It helps with planning. Even when you're looking at, like, when we're coming back, a lot of times, like, we come back, we're going to change some things on our calendar. We come back after the, like New Year's Day. Nobody wants to come in and have a board meeting then, so, we're pushing it down. But who does that?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because Mr. Charles White, he's working with a larger team this year. We're very excited about some of the changes we want to propose. Not only are we going to closely review our calendar for our staff and students, we're also going to propose some additional events for our supporting our teachers and leaders through professional development. So we are right now in the process of looking at the calendars, and so we will be bringing something to you fairly soon. But again, thank you for bringing that up, because that is exactly the work that we're currently engaged in. And so I look forward to Dr. Smith presenting that information.
Right. And I'm going to mention another thing about the calendar, and hoping that our new higher ups keep this in mind as well. We have an election day coming up, and I think we said it was a holiday, but then I think all of you all found out that it's not a holiday. So the schools are closed, but you all need to come to work. So I hope that some of you all will be so kind as to not decide that you're going to, not to decide you're going to have a, an 8 o'clock meeting, that you might want to allow people to have the opportunity to vote. It's a very important election. And, I hope that all you bosses will have some flexibility and some empathy for people that might want to go vote. I don't know how you all check in, but I know at some of these schools, we got some folks that are by the book, and you need to stop being by the book sometimes and have a little empathy.
Madam Chair, Dr. Smith has made that a mandate for all. We'll make sure that everybody has the opportunity to vote on that day.
Okay. And all right. So just looking at that, we need something, because I'm tired of teachers texting me, fussing about, I gotta, my child is, all of that type of stuff. And please get some input from some teachers and, other employees as well. Thank you. Any questions, board members? Because we're changing that. I know the moms and dads might be starting to put something on Facebook. Miss Ms. Baker?
Again, those are very, very, very long days. Start before 8 o'clock in the morning and don't get done until 10 o'clock at night. I think some massage therapists might be nice. Some pedicures, something for our feet.
Well, everything comes at a cost.
And I know I'm being
But we can definitely check
sarcastic, but
into it.
I just want to thank each and every person who does those very, very long days with us. It is noticed, and I'll even go to transportation because transportation's got to get them there and home and all those things. And so everybody chips in, and I'm just going to give Ronick a bad time and just going, why not this year? Okay, so next year it's going to be good. Next year's going to be real good. But thank you for all you guys have done because I know it's not easy, and we did think that we were going to get to use our building this year, and we've had to do a turn. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You next.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll move on in our agenda and we'll call up Miss Ramona Bivens for our business services report.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Senior Deputy Superintendent, Chief of Staff, Dr. Hendricks, colleagues, and community. The first report is going to be the monthly finance report. If I can get it there. There it is. So for the first quarter through September 30th of 2024, we have collected $57,325,667 of our $707.5 million budget, and that's 8.1% of the budget, of the revenue, rather. We collected 28.9% of the local revenue. We collected a small amount of our tax revenue. As you know, the bills did go out, so we should probably start seeing some of that money in October with those people that have an escrow account, because usually the mortgage companies will pay as soon as they get the bills. So we'll start getting some of that money, but the majority of it will come in November and December. We collected 13 point, ma'am, is that better? Okay, is that better? Okay. We collected 13.1% of our state QBE revenue and 12.7% of our federal revenue. On the expenditure side, we spent $102,704,000 of our $700 million budget. That's 14.5%, and we're 25% through the fiscal year, or a quarter through the fiscal year. So our spending is we're spending under a trend. Any questions on the financial report? The next report is our SPLOST report for the month of September, which is for August collections. We collected $6,131,000. That's a little bit more than what we collected last year at this time, and it exceeds what we collected for the prior month as well. And we should receive one more check for this SPLOST before we start collecting on the new one. Any questions on the SPLOST report? And then on the purchasing report, we have 3 reports. You have report A, which is consumable purchases made with a value of $10,000 or more. Report B is for non-consumable purchases made with a value of $10,000 or more, but less than $100,000. And report C are non-consumable items with a value of $100,000 or more that require board approval, and those are being detailed in the executive summary. And we can answer any questions you have on the purchase report. Okay, being none, we request that you approve these reports as presented. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Good evening once again, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Hendricks. You have received the SPLOST construction update for the month of October. There are 5 payments totaling $9.6 million. There were no change orders for this period. Additionally, you received the purchasing report and the capital purchasing report. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions, board members? One of the things I think you are planning to try and give us a tour of a couple of, what is it, Forest Park Middle and
And the
and
convocation
the
center.
Convocation Center during our retreat. Okay, Ms. Baker.
I just wanted to let you know that I've had people in the Lovejoy area, and they really appreciate the sign that you've put out in front of Lovejoy, because in years past, people didn't quite know what was going on. And I just think that informs them more. And I just wanted you to know that it is being appreciated. I know it takes a little extra effort to print something that big, versus county signs that you can't read unless you get out of your car and stand in front of them. So I just appreciate that, and I wanted you to know that.
Thank you.
I do want to ask you a question about Forest Park Middle School. Do we plan on moving into Forest Park Middle in January?
No, ma'am. August 2025.
Okay, but initially, we thought we would be able to, or what? Or we
No.
did?
That was always the move-in date of August 2025.
Okay, I was thinking it was, because it's looking really nice over there.
It's coming together.
Okay, and this doesn't have anything to do with your report, but since I'm just thinking about capital improvements, I don't know if, that is something that came under student services, but I wanted to commend Dr. Crawford and her team we did the ribbon cutting last week at the kiosk down at Lovejoy, and I was able to tour the, Central Office South building. I hadn't toured. I'm gonna have some questions about that, but I'm not gonna ask you today, though. Anyway, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all.
Ms. Albritton in our Human Resources report.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Acting Vice Chair, other members of the board, Dr. Hendricks, colleagues, and community members. The Personnel Changes Report summarizes all personnel actions for the period of September 13th through October 3rd. I will highlight our trend data regarding teacher vacancies. As of October 4th, there were 76 teacher vacancies. Additional information related to the vacancies can be found in the materials provided to you this month. All other HR updates were also submitted to the board for your review. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there questions, board members? I don't see any.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes our portion of the proposed agenda.
Okay, the next items on the agenda are under board matters, and we have policies A, B, C. This is the first read. So starting with Series A. Ms. Cooper.
Madam Chair, I pushed my button too early. It's actually on B, but since we're on the policies, I do have a couple of tweaks that I would like to send to the board. So I'll be sending those out on sometime this week so we can look over them and review them.
Okay, that's no problem. Under A, this is the first read. And from what I saw, there aren't any suggested revisions, but if board members have any revisions that you'd like to add, please go ahead and do that. So that when we come to, I believe it'll be our next work session, we'll be on the second read. So if we will share that with the board members, that will be fine. Do we have anything on B or on A, B, or C, any of the board members? Okay, so we'll go down to the next item, which is the proposed board meeting calendar. Now,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I just wanted to add one thing with the B policies. This is your chance as a board. Most of the other sections are your policies that relate to others, such as employees or students, but the B policies that's really your own policies governing the board. So certainly encourage all board members to review those B policies and have a discussion about whatever changes you all want to make.
Yes, that's what Ms. Cooper was saying. I believe she said she had some items from the B. Isn't that what you said? Yes, yeah, so that's what, yes. Okay, so going down to we have two uh, board calendars to consider. Now, we're going to make, and you all please make sure that I do this when we get down here to the proposed agenda for action. On the proposed agenda for action, it says that we are going to vote on these calendars on November at our next, I think our next board meeting, which is, what is it, November the 4th? And that is not the case. So so make sure you remind me to take that off. These are for you to study. We have, if you look at the attached board calendars, you have one, because we discussed this last year, and we had some members that would not be able to come for the one board meeting a month, but there is a proposed schedule. Then someone said that after we had combined a couple of meetings that, maybe you had changed your mind and, you could do it. But if you look at the first one, we have the board meeting work session. It would start at 4 a.m. and we would do one meeting per month. So that's just for you to study and see if you could do that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say 4 a.m., 4 p.m. I do wake up with a hot flash every morning at 4 a.m., so I'm up. So, but you all may not be, because I'm old. Okay. And then we have the other proposed meeting schedule with what we've been doing now. So look at those, study them, and send your suggestions. And we're going to cover that a couple of months, much like our policies. We have any questions?
So second calendar will start at 5?
Well, if we continue what we're doing, yes, we'd have, we would have executive session at 5, like we've been doing. Or either if we could, make it 5:30 or what, it just depends, because we just never know what happens when we have executive session. To make certain that our meetings start at 6 o'clock. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
And then the other one that we start at 4, what time would the meeting actually start? At 5 or?
The one meeting, we would start at 4 p.m.
Executive session or the meeting?
Well, I think the executive session would probably end up falling in the middle, because that would actually be the work session. We'd start out with the work session, and executive session more than likely would fall in the middle, and then the business meeting. So it would be within that time frame. Ms. Bowles, I think I saw your light.
Yes, thank you. I was just going to chime in on Ms. Williams' point about the 5 p.m. for 2 meetings, like if we're doing the same thing. My concern, I actually like the 1 meeting idea. That doesn't surprise anybody. My concern, though, is the 4 p.m. start. I don't think that will properly include a work session, an executive session, and a start time for the main meeting at 6. So if we do consolidate same day, I propose something a little earlier that gives the proper time, that we don't have to like rush through any one thing. But yeah, that's all I was going to clarify, was that your proposal as it stands for the 1 meeting is a 4 p.m. start, and then the other ones would not change from what we do.
Well, if you look at what we've been doing, we've been combining meetings anyway. and starting at 5 and still, but they run into maybe we don't get out of here till like 8 o'clock or later. So are you saying that
When we
maybe
can,
we should start even earlier than 4? Because like I said, these are just examples. If you
right.
you can add any, just help us out with whatever suggestion that you think would make it better.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do. So I think that to your point, right now we've been combining executive sessions and business meetings. That's the combination that happens right now. What I'm trying to say is I like the proposal to consolidate work sessions and business meetings with an executive session in the middle. My one flag is that I don't think a 4 p.m. start will allow us to achieve all of that. So maybe like a 2 p.m. start, noon start with
Right.
like a break for a meal, or
Yeah.
it's just what it sounds like right now would be a consolidated day of rushed meetings. And I would rather us take the time necessary to have thorough, impactful meetings than just consolidate in a hurry. So although that's my suggestion, I recognize that, we'll have to discuss that as a team because some of my colleagues don't have that flexibility.
Right.
But that is my proposal, is to consolidate into a day of meetings, starting much earlier so that each
Okay.
meeting gets the time and consideration that it deserves. I would also like to suggest that committee meetings happen on those days, but we can talk about that later.
Well, if you want, I don't have I would like for the meeting to be earlier than 4, but that is just it's just a proposal. It's it's out there. Whatever suggestions that you all have, just share it with the group, and we can do it. Because again, the problem still might be that we couldn't go to the one meeting anyway. With the 4 o'clock time, it would be time to have a meal in between. It just depends. But like I said, it's just a proposal. If you'll share your information, whatever you think, and we can share with the group and either compromise or we stay as we are. Okay. Any other comment? Okay. The next item on the agenda is facility naming. And I have this item on here because a year ago we voted on a naming, excuse me. We did a naming action. We voted on it, and a year has passed. And in order for that to have happened, we were supposed to receive a response, and we have not. So I am making a motion that we withdraw the naming, which was to name the court at the Morrow Gym, and reconsider at some other time. But the motion on the floor is for us to withdraw that naming of the floor. That's my motion. I need yes, Mr. Christmas. All right, it's been moved in second. Ms. Cooper, did you? All right. So I need a vote to withdraw the naming of the floor at Morrow High School. Please vote. All right, it is a unanimous vote, 7 in favor. All right, thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the proposed board meeting agenda for November. So if you look at the agenda for November the 4th, I believe, The last item on the agenda is the calendar, the proposed calendar. We are not, we want to remove that from the agenda. And we'll push, that will end up happening in December. I need a motion for approval of the proposed agenda for the next board meeting on November 4th. Ms. Baker.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the agenda as stated with the exception of the proposed board meeting calendar, which will be postponed until December.
Thank you. I need a second. Mr. Christmas. All right, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the proposed agenda for November 4th, removing the vote on the calendar. So please vote. All right, it is a unanimous vote. I want to have Ms. Baker and everybody to check behind me to make sure that we have covered everything. And thank you so much for your attendance. We're in adjournment.